How I graduated college for 10K. Hello all, welcome to another podcast. This is going to be a different one. Kind of just geared off my story and kind of what exactly how I graduated for 10K. So I'm going to put in the links of this video description. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the description of this, I'm going to put the links to a flow chart because there's no visual for this podcast. This is an audio only podcast. So the purpose of this video is to kind of talk about what it's like growing up uneducated. I could probably go on, and then how I graduated college for 10K. So, because I think it's Nietzsche that said, if you have a clear why, you can bear any how. That's astute for what I'm about to explain. So I grew up in a rural area, homeschooled, and there was no such thing as a high school diploma. And the quality of the education I got was, I wouldn't say it was very up to snuff. It wasn't up to snuff. And pretty much, I think my formal education stopped somewhere around late elementary school, 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't remember any teaching as a teenager. So about that time, I started mowing grass, just thinking, this is it. I'm going to be... I better start working and saving because I'm going to be a retard. Like, I'm going to be dumb. And I had super low self-esteem. Like, I really did think that I was stupid. And obviously the measurement of human intelligence isn't just the stuff you can memorize and regurgitate. But at the time, that's what I thought. So I had really just thrown myself into any job I could get. And I made a little idol out of finding some career. So my entire teenage life, I didn't date. I didn't do very much other than work. I worked at fast food. I worked at, mowing grass. I had my own landscaping company. And I just worked. And then somewhere around 22, 23, I started getting a nice savings account. I was living very frugal, and I started getting a nice little savings account from the many jobs. I would consistently work 60 hours a week and just save as much as I could because I figured there's nothing else for me. Around 22, 23, something started happening. I started to accumulate savings. And I was bartending at the time, and I actually had a little bit of spare time to invest a little bit of my own time into different ideas. And I had actually sold real estate for a while, and things didn't really work out in the recession. I also didn't like working on commission only. So I started to look out for other, technical abilities, technical things I could do that didn't require a high school diploma. So I went down this path of getting IT certifications. I heard something on the radio, I think it was, and I started getting IT certifications, and rarely did I see, a high school diploma required on most of the applications for IT work. So, and this is all relevant to college here in a minute. So I'm going down this path of getting all these IT certifications, just looking for a job. And one of the podcasts that I was listening to for IT-related work referenced Khan Academy. And Khan Academy is this website where you can pretty much learn anything. It's a guy like me, a guy in my position. It was like my dream there. You can go through there, do all your basic math. You can do art, science, humanities. You can study all that stuff on Khan Academy, and it's really, really good quality. It's not just random, YouTube videos. There is a curriculum on there, and it's really good. So I got addicted to Khan Academy. I mean, it was like cocaine to me. I was on there all the time. I was just all the stuff I wanted to learn as a kid, but I was too shy or embarrassed to ask my parents to show me over, algebra, for example. I struggled with algebra. And it wasn't because I was an idiot. It was because I was just ignorant and thought I was an idiot and too embarrassed to really dig deep into why I didn't understand some of the concepts. So that was that handicap was definitely crippling, but then discovering Khan Academy definitely opened up my world, opened up my eyes, and helped me understand a lot of things that I didn't otherwise know existed. And one thing I definitely see is, like, when you start to learn a little bit about any type of concept, if you learn some of the fundamentals, you start to really appreciate that. For example, like, you learn a little bit about history and the human condition. It really makes you grow an appreciation for the republic and the basic rights we have in this country. And this country is not perfect, but darn, it's pretty awesome once you learn about what life was like before this country. And that's just a little example. So on to college. So I'm just learning IT stuff as a hobby. I'm on Khan Academy, fixing all the stupid that I was stuck with, and from there, I saw that there was this college called WGU in Indiana, and WGU is basically, they partnered up with Indiana and they subsidized the cost, and it's a brick and mortar university in Utah, but they offer a complete online curriculum. And they also, you don't have to buy books. You can do your college at your leisure. You didn't have to, because I said I worked a lot. I could not afford to go to college, and I could not sit in a classroom. I had to work. I had things to do. So the nice part about my particular college was I could do my schoolwork after my second shift job. I'd get home from work. I worked at a casual dining restaurant. I'd get home from work around midnight. I'd do schoolwork till 3 a.m. I used to play Xbox and drink, but I just substituted the Xbox and drinking for the Khan Academy and now my schoolwork. And it was a fantastic experience. And I used Khan Academy because I said I was really dumb educationally. I don't know. My education was just horrible. I used Khan Academy to brush up my skills. So, that was it was just fantastic. And the concept behind WGU is they have this thing called competency-based learning. And what that means is you're not stuck, and this is another reason why it appealed to me. You're not stuck in a class if you know the material. If you're familiar with the material, you can just test out and move on. You don't pay per class, you pay per semester, regardless of how many classes you buy, regardless of how many classes you pass. So that was for a person who has a real tight budget. My salary, just to give you some perspective, my salary was just a hair above the poverty, what was considered poverty in this United States. So it was just a hair above that. And I was working full time, but when you are making minimum wage or you're working for tips, it's kind of like swimming with weights on. It's hard to get any traction. In the job I had for 10 years, serving tables, I never received a raise, ever. So that's what life is like when you don't have a high school diploma. You get a paycheck for like $2. Sometimes you get a paycheck for $2. So, and you never get a raise. You never get sick days, none of that stuff. You don't have insurance or PTO. Now, I haven't served tables since a long time ago, but that's how it was back in my day. So that was a benefit. Competency-based learning was a benefit for me because I had to be real conscious of my cost. Something as simple as $1,000, for example. It took me over 80 hours a week to earn $1,000 in tips. So that is just something that I had to be really conscious of, because I think it was like $6,000 a year. So I had the money saved up, but if I was able to pass all the classes, I could additionally not have to spend that much money on my school. So that played nicely, because I had told you earlier I started getting IT certifications. Well, I actually started receiving credit for those certifications. And I figured this out before I enrolled, because they have their course, their curriculum, everything you need online before you enroll. And I started obtaining IT certifications that counted as credit towards my degree. So I obtained a bunch of outside credit prior to enrollment. And like I said, this whole process is listed on their website. But obtaining all that outside credit, as soon as I enrolled, I had like 60 credits as soon as I enrolled. So I was already halfway done. I only needed 120 something credits to graduate. So I was already halfway done with my degree. So once I actually enrolled in the course, I just started working like a machine, just getting at it, like 25, 30 hours a week of just school, just killing it, because I was motivated to pass those classes. I did not want to pay for classes I didn't pass. So I was doing like 18 credits a semester while working, and I just killed it. And because I enrolled with so many outside credits, and then I just kept up the pace of doing 18 credits per semester, I got out in 2 years. I did a bachelor degree in information technology in 2 years, and it was less than 10 grand. So it was a fantastic return on investment. And now, it was definitely a contributor to my income, a huge contributor to my income. That education that I learned is directly applicable. And I think this video is important for two reasons. I think it's definitely, if you're out there and you're uneducated or undereducated, leverage the material that I've mentioned in this video or in this podcast. Leverage that material. It's out there. It's free. Why be stupid? You don't have to be stupid. I think another reason why this video is beneficial, because there are a lot of people in student loan debt, and you don't have to go into student loan debt. Now, for those who have already neck high in debt, there's other resources on my site that I talk about to help you get out of debt. But if you're contemplating more school, or if you're looking to get into school, looking to go to college, there are alternatives to the traditional rape your wallet approach of just going into debt and hoping you get a job. I told you I worked at a restaurant. I knew lots of people who had bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and 6-figure debts, and they were working at a restaurant. They just couldn't find the job they were looking for. I know a guy who went 6-figure deep into social work degree, and there's nothing wrong with social work. But if your salary is like $32,000 a year and you go $100,000 into debt, it's going to take you a long time to pay that off. So, maybe stay at a community college and get your social work degree. That's just something there are other alternatives to the traditional, and that's what I don't hear people talking about that. I hear people just wanting bailouts from the government, where there are things we can do ourselves where we don't have to raise taxes or elect corrupt people who promise us free stuff. So I hope this podcast has been beneficial, and please let me know if you have any questions. All of the resources, like I said, are on the website. So I'm here as a resource. Let me know how I can help. Talk to you later.